Welcome to the Startup Leaders Show, where we learn lessons from leading startup founders and executives. I'm your host, Lisa Dreher. I'm really excited to introduce our guest for today, Peter Roberts with ManageMowed. Welcome to the show, Peter.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. So maybe we can start by just having you give us a little bit of background about yourself and ManageMowed.
Sure. So I'm a co-founder of ManageMowed Landscape Management. We're a commercial landscape maintenance firm. We've been around the Puget Sound area for over 20 years. Recently, the last 3 years, we started franchising on a national scale. So we're new to franchising, but not to the landscape industry. So I'm born and raised in Edmonds, Washington. So that's where our current headquarters is. And I'm married and have 2 kids, 5 and 7.
Wow. So you're just a little busy, huh?
Pretty busy. Yeah. So basically we have our corporate location that runs all of our corporate stuff through most of Washington, and then running the franchise side of the business as well. So yeah, it's pretty busy.
Wow. So maybe we can just jump into things and talk a little bit about what have been your biggest keys to success so far.
Yeah, that's a good question. I think that one of the best things we've done is learn from all of our mistakes that we've made over the years. And, it's okay to make a mistake as long as you learn from it. And always trying to get better. I mean, really, that's our goal. Every year we make new goals and new plans. How can we be better? We never want to just stay flat and think we're at the best way you can be, and always trying to get better. Yep.
Yeah. So is there a lesson that you've learned that, kind of, I guess, the hard way that you could share?
Yeah, I mean, there's quite a few, but I would say one big thing that an issue we had back in the day was spending money. Spending money before we had it. We thought we were young. I mean, I was 21 years old. So spending money on dumb stuff that wasn't really necessary without the proper planning and setting the goal setting and planning. We thought, let's get the bright and shiny trucks. Let's get the bright and shiny excavators for our business. Let's do this and that. We need a really nice office space. Those were things that, put us in what I call bad debt. And when the economy hit us really hard in the 2008, we had a lot of debt for a business that had high revenue, and all of a sudden 80% of that revenue dropped out from under us. And so carrying that debt it took us a lot of years to kind of recover from that. Mm-hmm. And so now, we make smarter decisions before we manage our cash flow, and we make better decisions. And that was one key thing that really slowed down our growth rate, really set us back.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. That's really good advice. I think mm-hmm. that, would you say that there are a lot of things that you think you need that maybe you don't need straight off the bat?
Well, yeah, I mean, it depends on the business, but for us, we've really minimalized it over the years. That was one thing we learned, is like, let's become a minimalist and simplify things. Everything mm-hmm. that we look at in our business, we decide, do we need this or not? Is this more of a luxury? What can we do? Can we get away without it? That kind of thing. And we really think about the bottom line every time, because really it's about, for us, beyond our work-life balance that we have, but a business needs to make money, and I need to make money as an owner. And mm-hmm. if we're not making money, then what are we doing it for?
Yeah. Yeah. When you look at the business and, that you've had over the years and the transitions you've been through, what has been the most valuable business lesson that you've learned?
Well, when it comes to our business, I mean, evolving through some of these pivotal times, evolving mm-hmm. and redesigning our business. It's okay. Some people get stuck in what they have and don't realize that you can change and make things better. And So we've always evolved. And, like I said, when in 2008, when everything dropped out from under us, we looked at our business and we said, okay, we're like a 90% residential company doing installation and design. And that's what dropped out from under our feet. And we said, okay, well, how can this not happen to us again? Let's see what we can change. And we decided that the only people that were paying us still were our commercial clients, and they were the maintenance clients.
Sure.
So we decided let's get out of residential completely and move into commercial and do commercial maintenance and really just focus and kind of narrow our focus. It's easy to get caught in the doing everything, but that's when you get yourself in trouble. So we really narrowed our focus down and really became great at what we did. Mm-hmm. So I'd say evolving and being open to evolving and changing your business was really important. And don't get stuck in that you have to do it the way you're doing it now. It doesn't, and if it's not working, move on and change and make things better.
Yeah. Do you have kind of a regular review time frame to just think about that, or does that normally happen when something dramatic is happening, either in the market or just in the economy in general?
Yeah. Well, no, I think it's both. I mean, I have a business partner, a great business partner. I think that's one key to our success, is having a great business partner. And so we're constantly strategizing and anything that comes up. I mean, we're meeting every day or, a few times a week and strategizing everything that we do. We do have our annual meetings that we really kind of deep dive into everything. But we're always looking at that and strategizing and being open to change and looking at things and whatever needs to. We're very nimble now. So we're open to, if something needs to change, we're ready to go.
That's great.
Yeah.
Looking back, knowing what you know now, what would you have told yourself when you first started out?
Well, some of that would be about the money, the cash flow, and getting in the debt and spending properly. But beyond that, that really set us back time-wise. I'd really like to accelerate our growth. I'd like to be where I'm at now 10 years ago. And I think that if I really pushed the growth of the company, the sales, and actually, we used to think that business was going to come to us just by spending money on marketing. And we realized that that's marketing's great. You need that, but you also have to go get the business and push for it. And that's really when we started kind of accelerating our growth. So that would be something I'd want to do sooner. And not, we were young and thought, let's spend money on cool websites and cool things. And all of a sudden business is going to come to us. And that wasn't, it did come to us, but not at the pace we needed it, at the rate we wanted.
Yeah. So what kind of made the big difference, or what did you actually do to go get that business? What did you do different than I guess you were doing when you were sitting back kind of expecting the business come your way?
Well, it's going to be different for every business, but for us, we just started knocking on doors, being really aggressive. And that's a scary thing to do. But when it starts to work and you realize that that's a really, efficient way to get business and start knocking on doors, at least for us, that's what worked really well. We're knocking on doors and calling people and asking for the business. We don't, kind of tiptoe around it. We don't have a long pitch, and we're not salesy. We're really casual, but we ask for the business. That's So.
Yeah. Is there anything that you would do differently from what you did? From what you've already told us, are there other things that you would have done differently if you were to kind of start all over again?
Man, I think that making the right hires, we've made some bad hires in the past and wasted time and money on them. And I think really investing in your team is really important. And so that's something that I think is good. If there's something that you as an owner aren't that good at, and you can realize that, and then have someone fill that role, that would be, that's important. And so we've gotten better at that, and we realize where our shortcomings are and what we're not good at, and we try to fill that role with somebody.
Yeah, that's good. Oh, what have you found has worked in finding the right people? You kind of mentioned maybe making a
Yeah.
few not so great hires.
Yeah.
Other things that you found have worked really well?
We honestly, like, one of the key things is obviously they have to be somewhat experienced in the role that we're looking for. But most of all, we're looking for someone we want to work with,
Hmm.
because even though I'm not good at certain things and I want to fill that role, like, if someone else can be good at it, but they're not quite there yet,
Yeah,
I can kind of um, help build that role and kind of teach them how to do it, And if that's somebody I want to work with and they're willing to learn, then I think that's key. So really, it has to be someone we want to work with.
yeah. Did you find, so once you kind of transitioned over to being really focused on the commercial market,
Mhm.
did you find that you kind of hit a plateau or a place where you felt like we need to do something to really scale this business?
Yeah, I would say over the last 10 years, we've had some. We've been growing every year, but we've had some slower growth rates. Um, when we were somewhat plateauing, I guess that's when we invested in marketing and
Mhm.
really pushed sales harder. That was it.
Yeah.
If we needed to make a change in our marketing or a change in the sales or make things a little better, that was it. But we never pulled back, and we know that investing in the marketing and sales is important for us. And so we just doubled down if we needed to. If we were plateauing, let's double down on what works.
Sure. So maybe tell us a little bit about that transition going from, direct sales to transitioning into a franchising business. That's a really interesting thing, I think.
Yeah, I mean, we looked at franchising, 10 to 15 years ago. We just weren't ready because we didn't have the money. We had that debt I was talking about, and you can't get into franchising without having some money.
Hmm.
But when we did get into franchising, we wanted to do it right. So we ended up hiring one of the top franchise consultants in the country, and I think that was really key for us to set us up with the proper foundation. We spent
Hmm.
a year and a half with them and a lot of money setting up the foundations of everything we need to build the franchise part of it.
Yeah.
So moving into that was important to us. It was important to us to make sure that when we're ready to sell franchises and we do sell them, that our franchises are, it's a win-win situation for both, and that, the goal is for them to make money too, and that's really important for us. I want
Yeah.
them to be happy and them to make money. They're putting in, sometimes their retirement money, and that's a lot of pressure for us. So we want to make sure we did it right. So I think we invested um, a lot of money, but it was good money to invest because it's going to set us up for the future.
Yeah. What surprised you the most about just getting into that franchise side of the business?
Well, really, there's a lot of money that flows in and out of that. Like any type of supplier or vendor you work with, it's always 5 times more expensive than I thought. So you got to be ready, and you can't get into franchising. What you have to make sure you're ready with money and ready to be able to invest in that and continue invest. It took us a lot longer to get our first franchise than I thought,
Mhm.
but we were still having to pay for sales and marketing. It was about, I don't know, 10 months to a year before we got our first franchise, and I thought it would happen within the first few months.
Sure.
So, being an emerging franchisor, the first handful of franchises is the hardest, because there's nothing for them to see and say, how much money am I gonna make, and I can't tell them that
Right.
because I don't have any validation yet. So it took longer. So it's just time and money was kind of what surprised me the most. It was different than I had thought, or at least hoped.
Mhm. Yeah. What have you seen has been the greatest success factor then for your franchisees?
Well, we're sharing with them, when they're opening a new territory, there's no business there yet. So
Right.
that's, instead of focusing your attention on all your operations, the ins and outs of the operations, and we have all the systems and processes built, but you need to have that sales mindset. So from day one, when you open, we're working with them 30 to 60 days before they open to have a plan on day one. What are you going to do to get sales? So we have that kind of pre-launch plan so that day one they're out selling, right? So you don't want to sit back at your desk and again wait for the business to come or focus too much on the operational stuff, because there's nothing to do if you don't have any business. So it's just a mindset, really. People can get caught in operational land, but really they need to get out there and all their attention needs to be on selling.
Right. Right. Are there things that ManageMowed is doing differently from other providers of these services, of these landscaping services for commercial outfits that, helps these franchisees get these new opportunities?
Well, yeah, I mean, we're besides our business model, because we're a fully subcontracted landscape company, so we don't have any employees. We don't have any manual labor employees, no trucks or equipment or anything. So the business model is different. But as far as the actual landscaping, we're going to mow the lawn the same way anybody else does. But what we like to pride ourselves in is our account management. So our account managers are the key position in our company. So we're trying to, we have what we call CARE, which is an acronym. So C is the communication. We think having the proper communication with our clients is super important. So we communicate often. A is for a sense of urgency. Everything we do with them is we always want to have a sense of urgency. If they want a proposal or a bid on something, I'm not going to wait for a few days. I'm going to give it to them that day if I can, or within the next day, as soon as I can. R is building relationships with the client. That's really important to us. And then E is always being easy to work with. So our account managers, they live and die by that, right? So if you're not doing one of those components, then we're failing and you could potentially lose a client. So we believe we're a little different because of that.
Yeah.
The landscape industry is very fragmented. So in some ways it's not hard, to be a little different in that aspect.
Yeah.
But this is what we train on. This is our culture, and this is what we do the best.
Great. I want to end with one last question, and that is your prediction for the future. And you can kind of pick if you want it to be, related to franchising or the commercial services business or what have you. But what, if you were to make one prediction about the future, what would it be?
Yeah, I saw that question you had, and I'm not much of a tech guy or anything, but as far as landscaping, that's difficult. I know there's a lot of robotic type mowers and stuff coming out.
Oh yeah.
So, and that's been pretty popular. That hasn't really translated into the commercial sector as much. But outside of our industry, I really believe there's a lot of opportunity, and I'm pretty amazed by virtual reality stuff. So that might be a totally side item, but virtual reality, I think there's a lot of opportunity there. I'm amazed by just even some of the educational pieces when I've put some of those goggles on of things you could look at and do. And I've seen some videos on things that they're planning to do with virtual reality. So I'm pretty excited with that. I don't know what that means, within our industry, if there's anything we could ever do with that, but that's pretty exciting to me.
Absolutely. Well, maybe autonomous lawnmowers, right?
Yeah. I mean, they do have that. They have that already. So,
sure.
Like the iRobot vacuum in your house.
Yeah.
They have that for lawns as well.
Oh yeah.
So we're not quite there yet, but.
Yeah, my lawnmower today is my son, so I think he would be happy to have I think he'd be happy to have the autonomous lawnmower.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, they're pretty cool. If we can figure it out for some of our commercial clients, I'd be game for that.
That would be great. Well,
Yeah.
when that happens, we're going to have you back on the show and we'll talk all about all the autonomous, kind of lawn keeping
Yeah.
and
Yeah. That's definitely something we're going to need to stay up on. We want to be ready for when it comes out for us.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for making time to be here with us today. We really appreciate it.
Yeah.
And
Thanks for
we,
having me.
yeah, like I said, it would be great to have you back on again in the
Sure.
future.
Yeah. Let's keep in touch.
Sounds good. Thanks, Peter.
All right. Take care.